This lighthouse on Lake Superior was critical to the development of the Great Lakes iron ore trade. Known as the Queen City of Lake Superior, Marquette was once the top shipping port for iron ore on the Great Lakes. The lighthouse was vital for safe navigation of ships entering Marquette's harbor.
Here behind me is the Marquette Harbor Lighthouse. It's located right off the coast of the mighty Lake Superior. It was built in 1853, then rebuilt in 1866. The lighthouse you see here today is not the original lighthouse. It was first built in 1853 and was a simple stone schoolhouse structure. The first rendition was built 4 years after Marquette was founded. The building was a story and a half. It had a 35-foot rubble tower kitted with 7 14-inch Lewis lamps. The original lighthouse was very poorly constructed and had to be rebuilt in 1865. Construction ended in 1866. The new lighthouse was very similar to the first one. It was a story and a half with a 40-foot brick tower housing 4 4th-order Fresnel lenses. The new lenses had a 270-degree arc instead of the 180-degree arc. It was a very nice upgrade. They had the lighthouse at the end of the break wall, and they added 2 whistle alarms as well. With addition to the extra tower and the whistle alarm, they needed to hire a lighthouse assistant keeper. The lighthouse had a problem because they needed extra help, but there were no living quarters for the assistant lighthouse keeper. In 1898, they converted the barn in the back into a living quarters for the assistant. This worked for a little bit. In 1909 and 1910, they made a more permanent solution to the living situation. This solution was made by adding an addition. By the 1950s, they covered the staircase.
In 1939, President Roosevelt merged the U.S. Lighthouse Service and the U.S. Coast Guard. The lighthouse hosted the Coast Guards and their families for years until 1998 when they got their new living quarters. The building was left empty until 2002 when the Maritime Museum bought it and turned it into a museum tour. In 1965, they wanted to make it stand out and seem more vibrant, so they painted it red like you see it today. This lighthouse is old, but had a very significant role in the iron ore trade in the Great Lakes, until the opening of many Minnesota mines started getting bigger. In 1890, Marquette was a premier shipping port for iron ore. Now the Maritime Museum is looking to revamp the second floor of the lighthouse to make it look more like it did in its time period. If you were looking to get a tour of the lighthouse for the 2022 season, it is closed, but it will be open again in mid-May for the 2023 season. If you have more questions, you can look on mqtmaritimemuseum.com for any more information. Before we let you go, we will tell you a story, a ghost story. The lighthouse is old and has had many undocumented tragedies, so the possibilities are endless. No one knows what could be lurking there at night. And with the age of the lighthouse comes many different stories. But this one we have heard from many different people, so it must be true. Now enjoy the story.
There was once a little girl who lived in the house with her family, and one day her parents went out to check on the light towers. There was a stormy night where you couldn't even see the slightest bit of moon. Her parents got lost in the storm. The little girl would lay there waiting. For years later, she would walk the catwalk looking. Even years later on, days where the lake is calm and beautiful, you can see her staring through the window. But if you dare go out there when it's storming, you can hear her cries and scream of terror, only when it's storming.